Hello, Fat Ass McChungo here. This is like my 5th time reshooting this video because either I wasn't happy with the way I behaved in the video.
I have been caffeinated.
I wasn't happy with the way it sounded. I fucking ruined the video. I really need to start writing bullet points when I record these videos. Deleted things on accident. There's like so many reasons. There might be a couple like different shots of me in different places with different hair because I've been recording this and re-recording this for about 4 months now because I swear to God every time I finished it, new stuff came out for me to get mad at. I'm disappointed in this community as of late, incredibly disappointed, and there's many reasons as to why. But before I get into all of the negativity, because there's going to be a lot of negativity in this video, and I apologize for that. I know I'm usually a pretty goofy-go-lucky guy, but I need to talk about this stuff. Let me talk about the good stuff. Because what I'm going to be talking about may seem like I'm going like no criticism of the multi-billion-dollar company, which is not true whatsoever. Hasbro is a conglomerate, whatever, fucking, they have a lot of money, and they have a lot of things that, you know, we as consumers don't have. And they absolutely have the means to do better things, increase budgets, but they don't want to because they're greedy. And that's absolutely true. So absolutely criticize Hasbro. That is something that I fully support. And also, having opinions on things is, kick the camera. Having opinions on things is absolutely okay. You're allowed to dislike something and you're allowed to like something. If something in a picture doesn't look good to you, that's perfectly fine. I would still say, like, hold out till you see it in person and like interact with it to have a firm opinion. But I also know that that's not really possible for a lot of people. So if you just don't like how something looks and you don't like how something's turning out, that's perfectly fine. And you just don't have to buy it. That also feeds into my first point. The first section of this video is going to be going over people's reactions to Transformers these days. I'm not able to get excited about a new release anymore. And it's not because like, oh, all releases are bad or anything. No, I do initially get excited when I see a new picture. But then all the excitement disappears because I know the moment I try to enter a forum or want to discuss with anybody, all I'm going to get is hate and visceral reactions saying this is the worst thing Hasbro has ever produced for the 5th time this year. In a lot of cases, it doesn't make sense. Especially when it comes off of the product images. Now, don't get me wrong, the figure can look iffy. And it does, like, that, like, nothing can really fix that. Look at fucking 86 Astro Train. I personally still like it and want to get it, but I can understand why a lot of people don't, because that thing looks fucking chopped, not gonna lie. But we also know, including the pictures we got for 86 Astro Train, that the product images are always terrible, like, the majority of the time. And this isn't anything new. It's been like this for fucking decades. Here's an image of a bunch of different images of Transformers figures from across the generations looking like shit. This isn't anything new, but everybody just automatically assumes that that's just what the figure looks like for some reason, despite the mountains of evidence that things are mistransformed. And yes, occasionally we do get a figure that looks like it's properly transformed. People still hate on it, like that new Age of Extinction Bumblebee. Let me ask you something real quick. How are they supposed to make a perfectly movie accurate Bumblebee at a deluxe price point? That's just not really a possibility with that god-awful design, in all honesty. That, and there needs to be remold potential for a potential Stinger. I can definitely see them remolding that into a Stinger at some point. Especially since the designers initially said that they wanted to redo Stinger. The designers have stated that they've wanted to redo Stinger quite a bit, so I absolutely believe that that's going to get remolded in the Stinger. And if you don't think that that's possible, look at these two. These are remolds. Or these two. This one just got announced. These are also remolds. So there's definitely possibility here. It's just that a lot of people just don't want to believe that for some reason. I've seen people just say Like, I've seen people bring up the stinger remold potential thing before, and the opposite side's defense was basically just nuh-uh, because they didn't want to believe it. So yeah, he looks a little scuffed, but that design was always going to look scuffed. And honestly, I feel like they did the best they could with that god-awful design. I just hate that design. I still think it looks better as a toy, because it being a toy, it inherently is forced to have kibble, which makes it look like more of a Transformer for me. That's why I like Age of Extinction Optimus so much. I hate that design in movie, but as a transforming toy, the kibble makes it better. Moving on from that, there's the issue with 86 Cliff Jumper. I had a whole, like, fucking 2-hour thesis with a friend of mine explaining how it basically was impossible for them to properly do that. And the reason why is because of 86 Bumblebee. Now, this is Bumper, but they basically have the same colors, just a different shade of black. With Bumper and Bumblebee, the forearms and the crotch are gang molded. But they're not just gang molded with each other, they're gang molded with the hinges. If I can get down, the hinges here. And the reason for that is because it is made out of palm. But the full word here, I don't fucking remember. This material is for stability. It's a lot more flexible, it's a lot more of a porous and flexible plastic, which allows for sturdier, like, materials, especially with, like, how thin the hinges are on the forearms. I feel like that was another thing that they were looking for, stability, and making sure that they don't, you know, break over time. Same thing with all the hinges and stuff. And since they're gang molded on the same material, they have to be the same color. Another thing about palm is that because it's so porous, it doesn't stick to paint very well. It is regarded as an unpaintable plastic. That's why a lot of times when a figure should have, you know, paint apps in a certain location, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's because of lack of budget, sometimes it's because of material. And in the case of Cliff Jumper, it's material. He has the wrong color diaper because, unfortunately, that plastic can't be painted. Another reason it can't be the right color is because they can't just add a whole new plastic. This is a remold. They can't add a whole new layer of plastic for 1 or 2 correctly colored parts. That's just not really feasible. And that would cause a lot of waste, which would increase the price of the figure, which no one would want to pay a Voyager price for this. At the end of the day, it's not that big of an issue. Except apparently it is, because everybody is freaking out about Cliff Jumper's wrong colored diaper. And yes, in pictures it looks a bit annoying, but also I'm sure in hand it doesn't look that bad, because 9 times out of 10, when you get something in hand, it looks better. And that's just how it's been. Like, there's just this constant stream of negativity for these images to come out, and then after months of hatred and vitriol over pieces of plastic that don't matter at the end of the day, when people finally start getting them in hand, they change their tune. And they start saying things like, oh, it's not that bad, or this is actually really good. And that reaction ranges from figure to figure. 86 Astro Train still has plenty of issues, so it's really just stuck in the either this is actually pretty okay, or I don't really like this, which that's perfectly fine. It does have issues. I will talk about that in its own video one day. But there are plenty of cases where people get worked up over nothing and then take their words back. And that's what pisses me off. People form opinions based on what other people say and what the internet says instead of deciding for themselves. And again, you're allowed to dislike something. I'm not saying that you have to like something. I'm not saying give your money to the multi-billion-dollar corporation. All I'm saying is decide for yourself. Take a look at something, wait for reviews, instead of just immediately going with the flow. And if at the end of these reviews, if at the end of these images or in-hand images, or if you happen to see it in person yourself, or whatever the case, and you still dislike it, then you dislike it, and it's as simple as that. Don't go with the flow, because that go with the flow, when it comes to hate, causes a lot of negativity to spread incredibly quickly. And specifically with the Cliff Jumper example that I just brought, a lot of this negativity I've seen comes from the lack of knowledge. Now, a lot of my information that I get comes from that toy guy. Not personally, I've spoken to him like once or twice. I'm pretty sure I am banned from his Discord server, according to one of my friends. Probably because I just ate way too many Transformer figures. No, I will not provide content. I do watch his content a lot because I really enjoy his more grounded perspective on a lot of things. Even if I personally don't agree with some of his opinions, that's okay. People have different opinions. He provides me with a much more valuable resource, and that is information. He is a business major, so he's able to hypothesize and work things out in a lot more of a closer way to how it probably works than a lot of us other people can. And he's had direct conversations with a lot of the designers. So piecing together the information that I've received from watching his content, I've learned that there's a lot more in going into these little plastic toys than I initially thought anyway. That's something that I realize is affecting a lot of the community. It's lack of knowledge, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to call people dumb. What I'm saying is people should try and gain that knowledge. When you see something that doesn't make sense to you, try to research it or ask around. Try to figure out a reason why. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just make assumptions in their head, like, oh, they could easily make this the right color, when in actuality, it would be way too expensive, or they just can't. There are reasons for things to be how they are. It's not always just, it's bullshit, or it's lazy, or it's corporate greed. Okay, maybe it's always that last one. Lack of knowledge isn't a bad thing. It's refusal to gain the knowledge that you lack that is. And a lot of people just make things up in their head to get mad at, and it just frustrates me. Chapter 2 of this little rant is the general negativity that people seem to have towards other Transformers fans. This is something that I personally experienced, as well as many others. Apparently, you're not allowed to like something or dislike something. People have different opinions on things, and that's just how humanity is. Everyone is different. But apparently, in this community, if you don't like something that certain people do, it's perfectly okay for them to harass you for it. Now, a while back, I don't remember the exact words, it's been like 2 years, but the whole moment sticks with me because it was the first time I personally experienced something like this. When 86 Prime was first coming out, I couldn't afford him, and I still don't have him yet. I do plan on getting him eventually, but I said in this group chat, in the server, I liked Earthrise Optimus Prime, and I still do. I have most of the decos for this. I think I'm missing Dramatic Capture and Bump of Chicken. Oh, and the dead one. Instead of starting a discussion about figures we liked, I got harassed, basically getting told that what I liked was utter garbage in the presence of 86 Optimus Prime. Now, here's my opinion on that. This mold is my definitive Optimus Prime. Yes, he's not this giant guy that towers over everybody else. I personally like my Optimus to be around the same size as the rest of his Autobots. I prefer the Netflix decos over there. I'm just lazy. Even if I get that 86 Prime, even when I get it, because I'm going to get it, it'll be perfect for my 86 shelf. But if I ever make a definitive Autobot cast shelf, the fucking Netflix one is going to be my definitive Optimus. Why? Because that's just how I feel about this. I love this thing to bits, even if it's not perfect. You know what else isn't perfect? 86 Prime. Suck on that, nerds. But in all seriousness, this constant hatred towards other people for not sharing the same opinion as you is fucking stupid and needs to stop. I have a bunch of stories from people. I have gotten permission to share some of their names. I've gotten and some people I didn't. So those who chose to stay anonymous will stay anonymous, or those who I wasn't able to get the permission to use their names are going to stay anonymous. But I'm going to be sharing stories that I've received from some people about their negative experiences with the Transformers community.
So I'm recording this audio at 2:07 a.m.
the same night I recorded the video, so my voice may sound a bit rough during these reading segments. I am currently running on half a Monster Energy drink right now, and pure passion to get this video out by the next day. Okay, before I get into the bad shit stories, someone in Ron's Bon Dujon's fucking Discord I made an edit of me in an invincible meme that you now have to watch. You do not have a choice.
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Threw a trash bag into space.
Okay, so the first couple stories are going to be a bit of a mashup, because these are things like disconnected statements that I got from just mentioning the fact that I was working on a project in the server. The server is the Jump Joint. I was given permission to promote the server from the owner. First, I just asked if anyone wanted to participate in the video, and the first response I got was, "This community fucking sucks." You show off a figure you like, and you are immediately hit with, "Oh my god, why would you buy that? It's so shit, you wasted your money." Yeah, I've felt that a lot. A guy told me one time he got bullied out of a server for saying 86 Mixmaster wasn't a good figure. Alright, this comes from Cobra Commander. In my honest opinion, the Transformers franchise has the Transformers franchise has had its ups and downs. There are good and bad people in it, but unfortunately the bad ones always overshadow a lot of the good ones. I've had great times in servers, but also really stupid times, and it's genuinely mind-boggling. I remember when I bought the CD collection of Armada, which is one of my favorite series, and posted it in the Transformers Discord, and got told that I wasted my money. It's not a good series, and I should return it and buy Beast Wars instead. Genuinely, I didn't think people would have had such a strong reaction to this. Left the server because the general chat is the most mind-numbing place to exist, and if you say something you don't like, you get jumped. I also don't like how they talk to my boyfriend like he had brain damage. I will give a small hint and say that that is the same exact server that I got bullied out of for saying I liked Earthrise Optimus. Well, there was that time people were telling each other to kill themselves over SSRTF Jolt, which that fucking came as a shock to me. I did not know that that was a thing. $200 to $300 spoiler pack Nemesis. Yeah, the aftermarket's a whole different issue. I'm not tackling that in this video. My experience with the community has been mixed, but it was mostly good thanks to the community. But one experience I remember is when I was younger, and I don't remember what social media it was, but I posted something about loving animated, and some guy with a G1 Optimus Prime profile picture gave me freaking death threats for not loving G1 instead. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Stuff like this. It's really mind-boggling how disgusting shit can be sometimes. After all of that, after hearing all of these stories, I got really sad, because I love Transformers, like, to an autistic degree. Look at this shit. Look at how many I have. And also the trash can of doom and despair. But I have just so many. Why? Because I love Transformers. Because I love these toys. I love these characters. I love this community. So it really hurts when I start to not love it anymore. When thinking about being in a group with a bunch of Transformers fans starts to be a negative experience for me, it devastates me. I don't want to get all boohoo sob story, but Transformers is basically the only thing in my life that's ever been a stable thing. So seeing something so close to me as a person, something that makes up about 99% of my personality, I'm not even joking. I know more about Transformers lore and history as both a franchise and a story than I do about American history. It's actually kind of bad. Seeing something this ingrained into me personally start to take a negative turn in my perception of it is genuinely heart-wrenching for me. I can't get excited anymore. I can't get happy anymore without knowing that I'm going to get hated for my opinion just because I like something or I'm excited for something that I apparently shouldn't be. But I don't want to just make this video 100% negativity, so I got a couple happy stories for you. This is some audio that I got from a friend of mine. I'm going to keep their name anonymous because they asked.
I figured I'd provide a more positive story, and I finally remembered one, so here goes. I remember, like, right before the public servers for the High Moon games shut down, I was playing the Dark of the Moon game on my PS3. It was like midnight, 1 in the morning, somewhere around there. I just hopped on a game. It was like just a 2-person lobby. It was me and one other dude, and instead of fighting, we just chatted for the entire time. You ever have those moments where it's like you meet a complete stranger, but it feels like you've known the dude your entire life just based on how you talk? It was one of those amazing moments. I don't even remember what we were talking about initially, but I remember it got to a point where I was like venting about some personal issues I was going through at the time. And this guy, this complete fucking stranger, just listened and gave me advice that actually helped me through those times. And I know the Transformers community is full of that. You just gotta know where to look.
This is a story from Cobra Commander yet again. I've met amazing people because of these communities, and I will forever be grateful for it. And genuinely, they've helped me through tough times. And I got to talk with people who also share my interests. There will always be good and bad people, so always go out of your way to find the good ones. I remember this one time where I was in a game night in the jump joint, and it genuinely was one of the funniest nights I've ever had. And I made this masterpiece of a character. John Drink Driver, the champion of misdemeanors. Transformers has had a majorly positive impact on a lot of people's lives, mine included. I met some of my best friends because of this community, because of Transformers. And I just want that to be the status quo. I want the joyfulness. I want the whimsy. I want the inner child for all of us to be able to reach in and touch them. Not like that. God damn it. Well, fuck, I'm leaving it. I just want this community to be a beacon of light for people. Someone comes home from work from a bad day. I want them to be able to connect with this community and feel better. Someone sees a toy that they're super excited about. I want them to be able to share that excitement without getting curb stomped behind an Arby's. This is gonna sound preachy as fuck, but at the end of the day, what I want this video to do is spread positivity. Instead of arguing with somebody because they like something, ask them why they like it. Learn about why they like it. And explain why you dislike it. Or, better, show a figure or something that you like. Learn about each other. Learn about each other's likes and dislikes. Because it's such a great feeling to connect with somebody who you would have never met in any other circumstances just because you like a red and blue piece of plastic. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. Can you shut the fuck? I've been Rocky, and this is my show. I hope you enjoyed. There was something that I missed. I couldn't find a way to actually fit in the video. There's 2 people from a Discord server that I used to be in, Raptor and Chuggernaut. These 2 were people I had very nice conversations with, despite us not liking the same Transformers. Chuggernaut, for example, only really collects third party and doesn't really like Chug. He also collects some older figures and stuff. I don't have any pictures to show, unfortunately. But yeah, I wanted to give them the shout they deserved.